Happy New Year. First tip of 2025. So this, we've heard SOI, sphere of influence, but this video is about, is 2025 for you going to be a year of the sphere, everybody's got a sphere, or a year of where you influence your sphere for business generating activities? I hope it's the latter. So today I'm going to share with you 2 strategies to engage your sphere and really focus on business generating activities. Again, this is a large topic, but I'm going to give you something you can go do today. In January, hopefully after you watch this video or whenever you watch it, do it that week because it's easy to do and it will engage, build conversations going into the spring market. Let's dive in. Okay, tactic number 1, first of all, you need to have a sphere organized. And maybe every year, I would encourage you to do this, and it's a great time to do it now, is to look at your database and make sure you have the right people in your database that can generate activity. How many of you feel like there are some people in your database that have never responded to anything you've sent them? And maybe it's time to prune your database. So as an example, if I want to kind of look at my data, and this is again, sample data in my Connect account or whatever CRM you're using, but I want to show you BHHS Connect since that's a CRM we offer. So let's assume this is one of the clients and you'd want to go through your sphere to the point where you're looking at, am I sending something, an item of value? You decide what that is. I'm going to give you some examples in tactic number 2, which is the important tactic to start engaging conversations. So in this example, let's just say they're not getting any emails from you, whether it's through a hashtag from campaigns we offer, a monthly newsletter, you can build your own, but we give you one to get started. If you add the FR newsletter hashtag. So, or if this is a client that you feel like is not really a client or a B client, maybe you need to focus on the A's and the B's and prune the C's, okay? But clearing up your sphere to start focusing on it is a good annual activity, okay? You can do it anytime, but since we're in January, I'm going to encourage you to do that. But once you have that, and make sure you have all of them easily grouped. I have them under a sphere hashtag. So tactic number 1 is to prune your database, make sure they're all good. If they're not getting an item of value and if you feel like you need to send them an item of value, we do offer several campaigns. You can build your own as well, but let me just show you really quick. It's right on the dashboard. You'll see here all company customers are sent with the hashtags. If you click that link, it takes you to the spot. And if you want, for example, a monthly newsletter to go, so do a little check of your database, okay? And make sure they're getting the right information for that you want to send them. If it's a company newsletter, it's FR and you just add that hashtag and you're good. If it's a market insights, which happens quarterly, click on this and you'll see hashtags for each of the market insights. If you're in Lehigh Valley, add that and you're good. So make sure your database is getting an item of value. Now, I've always believed automatic emails with a newsletter are table stakes, are necessary, but not sufficient. That leads me to tactic number 2, okay? Tactic number 2 is very simply, since it's the new year, I would encourage you to send them. I'll introduce you to 3 things you can potentially consider sending them. Don't send all 3, but pick one. I would recommend one over the other, but let's talk about it, okay? Assuming my database is organized, you could do it individually by contact, but I want to start with a mass email, but that's considered personalized as well. So I'm going to go under marketing, schedule mass emails, and this is where I can schedule an email. So in this case, I'm going to show you one that can go to all because it is designed that way, okay? So I have sphere as my hashtag. When I select that, anyone that has that hashtag will get this email in one click, okay? Now, templates. This is where I want you to search for Anything FR are things we've built for you, okay? So I'm going to do FR, and if I keep scrolling, I can probably find it here. There we go. Let me just keep going there. I am going to actually find the one that actually, just type in equity and you'll find it. There it is. How much equity did you gain in the last year? So if you're sending this in January, I might say in 2024 because it's right off the new year. But if you watch this video in the middle of the year, last 12 months would be good. So you can simply change this here, right on the subject line, in 2024. And we've done this. This is one of the most successful things we've initiated in the CRM middle of last year. But you could do this every 6 months, but it's a great time to do it. And it'll say, hi, Rajiv, I'm setting aside a few hours this week to put together home equity reports for my clients. Can I send you one for your home? Creates engagement. So if you have a sphere of a couple hundred people, you send this and you get 15 responses. Now you can go do a personalized, unsolicited CMA. In this case, it is a requested CMA. And every one of you have a process to do that. And you can simply select, change the subject line. Words are very simple, but yet very powerful. And it kind of tells them that you'll do this for their home. It's a very personalized approach. And in this case, you can simply now I can select a time and schedule it to go out. This can be sent to all, right, clients because it's not individual messaging. I'm going to come to that in a second here. Okay, so the next template. So first one is equity. Since it's the new year, how much equity did you gain in 2024? It's a great time to do it. Personal recommendation, I think every 6 months, if there's enough activity in that neighborhood, you should do an unsolicited CMA. Okay, it's one of the greatest ways you can earn business because it's one-to-one marketing and adding value. So the next template I want to introduce you to is name your price. Okay, this too will get you a lot of action, okay? The reason is, it's a new year. If people are on the fence thinking of selling, you could send this. Hey, Rajiv, quick question. Could you finish the sentence for me? If I could sell my house for, I would list my house this spring. Now, if you're sending this in the summer when you watch this video, you don't necessarily say that in spring, but you can change the word. But if you're doing this as you're watching this video and I'm making this in January, it's perfect wording. I can't wait to hear your answer. Now, some of them will goof off and say, well over asking that it's not even reasonable, but it will start a conversation. That's the most important thing here. You're starting a conversation. Remember, we led off the video by saying, this is the year you influence your sphere and not just have a sphere, okay? And so this is under tactic number 2, it's the second strategy, okay? Equity is first email, name your price is the second. Let's go to the third now. Okay, the third is a one-to-one email that you could send again at any time. So let's just assume in this case, I'm going to pick myself in this case, and I want to send this client an email, okay? And the email I want to send is buyers in your area. So FR again, buyers in your area. So what is this really giving you? It's giving you an opportunity to send an email like, there are 15 buyers looking for a home like, let's assume the usual home I do a demo on is Hanover. And in this case, the reason you're doing this one-to-one is this specific home is this client. In this case, let's assume it's me. And let's assume I live at 117 Hanover. That's the subject line. I'll tell you where you get the 15 buyers from, but let's hang tight for a second. So this is a one-to-one email. You can't do one-to-many. Okay, this is a one-to-one email. You can also probably do this when a listing sells, but we're talking about reaching your sphere one-to-one or one-to-many in the other emails that I talked about, right? So how do I get this information? So enter, again, not a new tool. Sometimes you don't have to be taught, you just have to be reminded, right? So in Rail Scout, you have a tool called Test the Market. So what I'm going to simply do is actually put in 117 Hanover Avenue and in here, and it's going to have bath, and it's in my neighborhood. I'm just going to give it a price, okay? That's around the prices that are in the neighborhood. So generate a preview report, okay? So what it's going to do, it's going to look through everyone that has a client in Rail Scout mostly our company, but it could also be competitor companies, just buyer data. Okay, and it's going to give you at a target price of 800,000. There are currently 91 buyers. Doesn't display the buyers, but the point is you now have the ability to send proof. The way you earn trust is you send data that backs up your email. Okay, in this case, it says 91. So I would simply, if I was sending this to Rajiv in this case, I would just say there are 91 buyers looking for a home like 117 Hanover. And I would simply change, obviously you would change it here, exciting news for your home, and it changes to 91, right? Because of that example. And if that home was 117 Hanover, I would change it like that, okay? Easy, but it's a business generating activity that's very targeted. And what am I dropping here? You could do one of two things. You could drop an image, right? So if you want to do this, take a screenshot of that, and I'm doing this live with you. So there it is, and I'm going to just, take that screenshot, and you can also export as a PDF, and you get a nice one pager that you can include in an attachment. But let's just say I did that, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and browse, and I'm going to hit upload, and there's my screenshot. I'm going to add it, let it finish uploading, and I'm going to simply say insert. And what do I have now? Voila, I have data that shows me, and I'm not just saying 91 buyers. I have data to prove it. And that is a great way to create engagement for people on the fence. So let's recap. Strategy number one in the new year is to clean up your database and make sure they're getting an item of value, and focus on your sphere that is going to generate activity. Clean up your database. Second, start sending. I've shared 3 tactics in strategy number 2. One is equity, because it's a new year. How much equity did you gain in 2024? That email. That you could go from 1 to many, and whoever responds, you could do an unsolicited CMA. Second, you could also send the name your price, which is a fun way to start a dialogue. That also can go from 1 email to your entire sphere. Third strategy that you're seeing on screen is a Rail Scout 1-to-1 strategy, which is if a client lives at 117 Hanover, you run the test the market report, you embed it here or attach it, whatever your preference is, and send it as a personalized. If I live at 117 Hanover and I see that subject line, guess what I'm doing? I'm absolutely opening that email, and I might read it, I might respond. But if I'm on the fence, I might have a conversation with you. And that's really what you want to do. You want to influence your sphere to have conversations that lead to connections, that leads to communication, that leads to conversion. Great year, everybody.